Hello everyone, welcome to European Compliance and Ethics Conference. Today we will be discussing compliance design today. And before we start, let me introduce myself briefly. I'm Ayşe Gönen Anaeli and founder of ECEC. ECEC is a compliance design agency in Turkey, and we will be diving deep into bridging the gap between rules and employee behavior. So let's get started. First of all, if you're here, thank you for joining me today and congratulations because choosing to join me today means that you are already on a mission to make your compliance program simple for everyone. And today I will make sure that you will walk away with actionable and effective ideas. So at first I want to start with basics actually. I want you to pay close attention to the statements that I'm going to show you because I'm sure that you at least once heard them or used them at some point in your compliance career. Ethics and compliance is everyone's job at the company, not just the compliance department, not just the compliance officer, but everyone. Tone from the top is key to set example to all employees. Policies and procedures are here to guide employees on how to operate daily tasks while staying compliant with the laws. Everyone should speak up if they are in doubt that something might be wrong. We should implement projects to foster ethical culture. So I have a poll for you. Let me share it on screen. I want you to quickly answer the poll. Are you agree with these statements? I will take a moment and wait for your answers and then move forward with the slides. I hope you can all see the poll now. Great. Okay. So it looks like all of you are agreeing with the statements, which is great. Now let's go back to the topic we are going to discuss. My question is, what we do to stay true to these facts? Because if we think that those are all true and those are the facts for compliance programs, and that means we should be doing something to make sure that our companies are actually internalizing those facts, right? If you think that you are putting some effort to make sure that those are true, those are the facts for your compliance program, there's also one more issue that I would like to mention. At the same time, we all face resistance from employees to own the compliance program, management teams who don't walk the talk, hundreds of pages, complex and hard to understand information, and of course, if you don't understand something, it's almost impossible to follow. And fear of retaliation, psychologically unsafe environments. And shiny annual reports which are empty in the inside with vague statements and not answering what's actually done in terms of compliance. So I see there's a gap between what we think should be true for compliance programs and what is the actual case here. So what creates this gap? Are we missing something here? I want you to take a moment to think about that. What are we missing here? We will try to answer this question. But of course, to get the right answer, we should be asking the right questions. So I want you all to ask these questions to yourself. Who are engaging with compliance tools, policy, procedures, compliance department? What root causes prevent them from complying? Where they find the right resources? When misconduct most likely to occur within your company, and how can you integrate compliance to your employees' daily jobs? Those questions might seem easy, but it requires a lot of thinking to answer it, to answer and find the right solution. To be able to answer these questions, we should be thinking from not only thinking from a regulatory perspective, but we should also be thinking other aspects of compliance programs and what may be affecting the compliance program and its results. So there are lots of points to consider, and when we go back to my first question, what are we missing? I think the answer is we are missing the connecting the dots. And the points that we need to be considering other than regulations is our user experience, visual design, behavioral design, psychology, information design, and of course there are other disciplines too. And when we all combine all of them together, we get a new methodology, compliance design. As you may already realize, compliance design is something interdisciplinary. It brings together law, design, technology, and psychology. Also, it puts humans in the center, because everything starts with human behaviors and how we think, how we decide. So humans are the really key part in compliance design. And it also provides you a wider perspective and to be able to see what is really going on within your compliance program. As I mentioned, our keyword for today is people, because compliance programs are designed by people to make sure people are following it. So our next question is, who is your audience for your compliance program? We should be knowing that who we are designing for, who we are writing the policies for. And here are some examples, because your audience can be different groups, and those groups can have like very different backgrounds, like C-level executives or blue-collar employees, or neurodivergent individuals. Maybe some of them can't be able to differentiate between colors, or have difficulties reading the numbers, or disadvantaged groups. Or your audience can be department specific, like procurement department or marketing department. When we decide who is our audience, we can go to our methodology. And this is actually design thinking methodology, and it starts with research. The research part is really important, because we can't assume and decide for the employees what they need, what are their pain points. We should be asking them, we should be conducting research. And if we do this research, we can only be, and then we can be able to define the real problem. And if we can define what the real problem is, we can be able to generate some ideas to solve that problem in an effective way. And I think defining the problem is really important, because most of the time clients come to us and say that they need training for some specific compliance topic, but most of the time they actually don't need a training, but they don't know what is possible for them other than training. So if we can define and find the root causes for the problem, then we can be able to generate different ideas and find the right solution for the specific problem. After definition, we go to the ideation process and start using different design techniques, and I make some ideations, like what can be possible solutions. We can create budget-friendly solutions, very expensive solutions, or very creative ones, or very traditional ones. It depends on the audience and what the true needs of them. After the ideation process, there comes implementation. The ideas we generated are not always applied, of course. We choose the most reasonable one and then go to the implementation process. And after we implement it, of course, we need to test it to see if it actually works, how employees are reacting, how employees are engaging with that solution. And this process requires user research at first. User research is basically understanding the needs, behaviors, and attitudes of users. And we can use this understanding to design and develop right products and services for the employees' needs, according to employees' needs. And user research has two different approaches. One of them is attitudinal and the other one is behavioral. Attitudinal basically means listening what user says, and I know that most of the compliance professionals are familiar with interviews and surveys, which are great to see what employees are thinking. You can drive great data from there to generate some insights. And other one is behavioral, and this means observing what users do. Most of the time, I think we need behavioral approach more, because sometimes employees say something, but when you observe the behavior, they do something else. So it's not always possible to see the full picture with surveys and interviews. Of course, we need to be using those tools too, but monitoring the behaviors and making culture walk is also very beneficial. What I mean by monitoring is actually in a traditional way, monitoring the business activities and to find what goes wrong during the process and reporting the process and analyzing the findings and then finding the root causes for the findings. And by culture walk, what I mean is to feel the atmosphere of the work environment, how employees are interact with each other, how employees are interact with their manager, what are their surroundings, do they feel a sense of belonging, do they have personal pictures on their desks, where does ethics stand in their day-to-day jobs. By conducting user research, we will be able to differentiate between what we assume is what's going on in the company and what is actually going on. So we don't do the wrong thing by thinking that we did a great job in the compliance program, because sometimes employees can feel something different than what we expect them to experience. Another important concept is visual design, and today we will be discussing a subcategory of visual design, visual communication design. Visual communication design is using typography, images, colors, and space to create clear, engaging, and memorable messages. And how does this benefit to our compliance program? First, it captures attention. Of course, it's better to see some visuals and colors than blocks of texts. And it simplifies complex information. It influences emotions and promotes understanding for certain topics that you choose to promote. And I want to show you an example how visual design is applied for complying with the rules. As you can see on the left side, there are lots of signs saying that I'm not even sure what they are saying because it's too confusing. Those are the parking rules. But of course, you as a driver only want to know if you can park there or if you can't park there. But those signs doesn't answer the question, because it's too confusing and there are lots of different information on there. And the designer chooses to design a parking schedule by using only some little words and colors there, and which is actually a very good example, because colors are used in a very good way, and it also includes colorblind people, because they will be able to see when they are not allowed to park there because of the stripes. They can differentiate between colors. So that's a good application of visual design when you think about the rules. Also, here's an interesting fact for you. On the average website visit, users only read 28% of the words. This is actually a study about web page use, and it's not related directly to compliance programs, but I think we can learn from it. And how this might be relevant to compliance programs, you may ask. Because when you think about it, most of the companies keep their documents for employees on their intranet page dedicated to compliance program and like compliance documents. And these pages, when you visit these pages, if you're not really in trouble, you don't read the things like word by word. You most likely to scan the text, so you're not able to see everything. And employees mostly see policies like this. They just scan it. They pick up some words and sentences, and rest of the text remains as meaningless word clutter. And of course, you should also be considering there is a lot of legalese in those policies and procedures. So probably they're not understanding much of it. But instead, we can change this, and we can use visual design and make it look like this maybe. Because when you use visual design, you will be able to create visual separators, and you can use contrast and make sure that employees are paying attention to the important parts of the policy the most. You can use larger bold headers to create a hierarchy between important information. And of course, you can use different colors to capture their attention. Moving forward, information design is also related to this, and it's basically presenting clear, accessible information to targeted users. And there are two important things to keep in mind: readability and plain language. Making visual policies and procedures, yes, they are important, but also the content of the policy is important too, because as I mentioned, you need to be able to create compliance programs that your specific audience can understand. So I have some tips for using of plain language. First of all, of course, knowing your audience and choosing familiar words to your audience, and if possible, avoiding jargon and using of short sentences. Aiming for a 6th or 7th grade reading level, because not everyone has a high educational background in the company. We should also always be considering this too, including headlines and subheadlines, using bulleted lists, and applying white space to the text. And I will show you some examples. This is from plainlanguage.gov, and you'll see that there is a rule to submit a document, and on the right side, when you apply information design, it's much more easier to comprehend and digest the information. Here's another example. This is from an Occupational Safety and Health Administration regulation, and this is an award-winning information design example actually. And let's see that how they use the tips that I just mentioned. On the right side, you can see that they used headlines, bulleted points and white space and short sentences, easy to use words. So it's much more understandable, much more clearer for the people who don't have legal educational background. Another topic is behavioral design. Behavioral design is a systematic understanding of how people think and how they make decisions. Based on this understanding, it's about how to design for behavior change. And we have a great experiment here to discuss. To do that, I will also publish another poll for you. Yes, I think you should be able to see the poll. On the left side, you see a line, and this line has the same height with the one of the lines on the right side. So what is the right answer? I will take a moment to make sure that you all answer the question. Okay, most of you choose the option C, which is the right answer. But here's another question for you. What if everyone has chosen option B and you were the only one to choose C? Would you trust yourself and insist on your answer, or would you follow the group and change your answer to B? Well, ECEC experiments shows that 1 out of 3 people follows the decision of the group, even they clearly see that the decision is wrong. The reason for that is, for us humans, there's a very important need: social acceptance. This concept can be very dangerous for the individuals who are in a toxic and unethical environment. Even they think that they need to do the right thing, the concept of right and wrong can be blurry because we tend to accept if majority thinks and acts in a certain way, this should be the right thing to do. Therefore, we as compliance professionals need strategies and methods to influence behaviors and decision-making process. And one way to achieve that can be nudge. Nudge theory is based on the idea that people can be nudged into making certain choices or taking certain actions. And now you can see the images. There are some examples on screen. Let's look at the stairs. The desired behavior here is to make people climb the stairs. To enable people to choose a stair, the designer uses burning calories as the motivation to choose. Similarly, in compliance programs, this can be used in training modules. For instance, if there is a bar showing the percentage of completion of training, employees are more likely to complete the session. On the right side, you can see another example. It's based on a daily basic rule: throw your cigarettes in the bin. But instead of saying this, designer created another experience and nudged people to vote for their favorite football player. By doing so, people are also complying with the rule. And here's another study of how behaviors are affected by certain things. This study is about the relationship between a speak-up culture and the level of psychological safety within the company. This table here shows us that Desired behavior, which is reporting to the designated channels in the company, in our case, is affected by the feeling of psychological safety. If psychological safety is low within the company, employees are more likely to keep the issues to themselves. In order to change that, providing speak-up culture trainings or preparing visual guides won't be enough, because the level of understanding isn't the issue here. The real issue is the employee feeling unsafe to comply. To guide the employee to the desired behavior, we can design certain rituals to increase the feeling of trust and safety, for instance. And moving on, I have some cool examples for you today. One of them is Microsoft's Trust Code. We mentioned that we should be finding creative, different type of solutions to fit our specific problem, right? So Microsoft did that, and they created a TV series named Trust Code as their training module. They were before this TV series, they were using videos and click-through emails as their compliance training, but it wasn't engaging enough, so they changed their ideas and designed a story around compliance. And I guess there are 5 seasons of Trust Code, and each episode mentions a compliance issue, and the characters are going through some events around compliance, which I think it's great actually, because it also gives employees something to share and discuss about after they watch the series. And Microsoft says that the completion rate of training is 99% after they aired Trust Code. And another example is Juro's privacy policy. You can see here information design and visual design applied at the same time, which they are relevant and related actually. You can see here what type of data they collect, how they use the data, and it's really easy to see, really easy to comprehend and digest. And when you think about people who are not very well informed about data protection, it's really important for them to see those kind of contents when they click on privacy policies of companies. And if you stick with me until now, I have a little surprise for you. We mentioned visual design and information design, and I try to show you some examples, but if you want to experience it within your company, I will provide you free visuals and infographics if you email the address you see on screen, and we can discuss more about it. And if you have questions for me, I definitely want to see them and answer them. Okay, Nelly says that, let me publish it for you. Nelly says that, would it be possible to receive materials from this presentation? Of course. If you email me, I can definitely send you. Paul says, thank you, Paul, for being here. Rudolph says, what is psychological safety? Which is a great question. Psychological safety is being able to express your concerns, speak up when you see something wrong, and being able to express your questions and ideas without any fear of being rejected or being insulted. And if you don't feel like that within within a group, and that means that the level of psychological safety is low for you. I would continue with my answer, but let me. Okay. I would continue with my answer, but I agree that social pressure is important and we like to feel like we fit in. Yeah, social pressure is important, and we can also use social pressure to guide employees to the right direction. For instance, there's a study, and according to by Behavioral Insights team, and according to this study, they used social pressure to increase tax payments for Guatemala, if I'm not wrong. They used they sent letters to everyone and saying that 60% of the citizens paid their taxes, and by doing so, this increased the tax payments in 3 months, like 30% or something like that, because people want to belong somewhere, belong somewhere. Elizabeth says, yes, Elizabeth says, you mentioned aiming for 5th or 6th grade reading level. How do you determine what that is, please? Is there a software we can use to check? Yes, actually, you can use readability scores, and Flashman readability score might be beneficial for you, or I mean, of course, it depends on the language that you are using. Sometimes I'm using Turkish, so I have specific solutions for that too. But I'm sure that for every language, there are some tools, and if you want, we can discuss it depending on your needs. Branka says that you are spot on about belonging and psychological safety. Thank you. What kind of visualizations do you use and recommend to create safe space for expression? Well, visualizations actually depends on the topic, and for each project I go for something different because as I mentioned, the comprehension level of the audience can vary, and I need to design materials specific to their needs, and of course it also depends on the topic too. What I recommend to create safe space for expression? Well, I can definitely recommend creating some rituals. When I say ritual, what I mean is, for example, celebrating birthdays is a ritual, like going on a lunch is a ritual, or having ethics day annually in your company is a ritual actually, and you can use compliance topics to bring people together and create some projects around it, and you can do it regularly, and they will be able to speak up more. Any extra tips on how to approach the communication when one is proving the information to several subsidiaries and various global markets? Yeah, that's a tricky one. Thank you, Nina, for the question. Well, if you have several subsidiaries, you should be conducting research for each one of them actually, because if the subsidiaries are based in different cultures, the communication strategy has to change according to their culture and their beliefs.